Making sure you have air conditioning is a big issue in Vegas right now, where temperatures later this week are going to be hovering around 110 degrees. But it's a dry heat, I'm told. But that has not stopped a $4.3 billion mega casino from opening up on the Strip, the first new opening we've seen on the Strip in the better part of a decade. Scott Martin here, comment on that, Connell McShane as well. If that isn't proof of the demand and the comeback going on in Vegas, where I'm told in this particular case, rooms have been pre-booked, that says a lot, Scott. What do you think?
It does. And if that's any indication that the three of us are going to get our annual Vegas trip back on the schedule, then, hey, I'm all for it. Here's the other thing. And maybe that was somebody else. Maybe I got you guys confused with somebody else. But the point is, Neil, look at some of the sporting events that are going on now. We've got arenas filled. That's right. It was Varney. That's right. It's easy to confuse it, especially late at night. But look at how the venues are filled. Look at how the just excitement is surrounding the NBA, the NHL, MLB, and, of course, the NFL season that's going to have full stadiums out in the fall. Vegas is coming back in a big way. Sin is back in. And the fact that we have all these sports now getting really exciting in some of the games, and especially like last night with the Phoenix-LA game, those are reasons that Vegas is back with a vengeance and probably going to be even back bigger than it was before the pandemic.
All right, so apparently these are all sports references you were making. Connell, what do you make of what's happening there? Again, I always say you've been going around the country more than any other, anchor or business reporter, and you've seen it for yourself. But in Vegas, they were stopped. There were no business conferences, crowds. I mean, they sorely need this, don't they?
Yeah, they're almost back. I mean, the last numbers that we had were from April, so a few months ago, and they were at 73% of their pre-pandemic levels with over 2.5 million people going to Vegas. So they're almost back by now, you would think. And certainly as we move into the fall, they'll be back to kind of where we were. So, yeah, I mean, on a domestic level, I think Vegas is where it needs to be or even above that. I think there's probably two challenges that remain. One of the business conferences, they've started to return, but that's going to be slower, right, for a couple of reasons. One, I guess, is the pandemic, but the other is that a lot of, especially big businesses, realize that they don't need to spend the money on those types of conferences anymore. You might not see the attendance you saw in the past. And the other thing is the international visitors for now. And despite what you hear about Scott's propensity for gambling when he hits Vegas, some of those international visitors, those are the real high rollers. So they need to get them back as well. But on the domestic side,
they need to get more of those guys. They need to get more of them. Real quickly, we are learning the vice president will be going.